Hello everyone, welcome back to the Shovel Knight 90% tutorial series. Today we're covering one of the more difficult stages. World 2 does open up a lot more of the troubling areas of the game. Lost City is easily a big reset point for players, specifically if they're struggling with the Beatle Skip. I'll also be covering lots of additional strats, some that are easier than the ones that you'll see in this first run through. In the effort to have the most presentable run through, I did use editing so that all the most ideal outcomes came through. While doing Beatle Skip, I would like to point out a couple of different things that could happen. I'm not going to visually cover a bunch of different ways. This is the way that I do it, but know that a lot of runners who do Beatle Skip all end up going through different blocks of dirt, and it doesn't matter. So long as you can bounce off of Steve here, you'll be fine. I still haven't forgotten about Chaos Orb and Flare Wand users. I will be covering some alternate strats for rooms. As we go through this long room, there's going to be a couple more instances of, hey, you can pass through an enemy as long as you're dealing damage to them, and enemies do respond to your actions and behavior. So for example, if you're struggling with this Red Duck Knight, just know that there are ways to get them all to cooperate with you. Except for slimes, which there are quite a number of slimes in this stage, and they all can provide you with some frustration, but for the most part, there's not really a reason why they should kill you. Since we're doing a little more shopping in the stage, you're going to have to make sure that if you bought an item like the Chaos Orbs or the Flare Wand, that you have at least 3,000 to spend on the Dust Knuckles in this room. There's not a lot of very easy to access extra money before you get to this area, so if you're struggling having the money count, then you're probably dying or not picking up enough in previous stages. Pretty much regardless of which route you'll be doing, you'll be breaking this 500 checkpoint because it won't cost you any time to do so. I got extremely lucky in the effort to try and move this slime ball over. You may not have the same type of luck, so just be prepared for that. Now later on in this room, there's a knuckle that happens to also move a slime ball, and I didn't feel like it was particularly worth including in my run, but I did want to show it off in the ideal run through first. It's an excellent example of a trick that I would not be comfortable with doing right now in runs, but if I practiced it, I might feel that I would be able to do so. I'm sure a lot of people feel similarly about Beatle Skip 2, which requires a lot more setup than the first one, and is far more terrifying in execution. Hilariously, if you can't do this trick, then this is proof that you don't have VSync enabled. One of the many reasons why VSync being set to enabled is mandatory for speedruns is because it actually alters the physics, and you would not be able to do that trick if you have it on off or legacy. While there are 101 different ways you can handle the Mole Knight fight, I'm going to be showing off the way that does not use the Flare Wand or Chaos Orbs until later on in the video. And because I felt like being especially tryhard, I actually did make use of the Dust Knuckles, which does help the fight go a little bit faster, but it's not necessary to kill him. He still goes down pretty handily without. Now there are two ways to get through this first room, but I'll cover the faster way. If you have any sort of good RNG, the slime will move forward, which will allow you to jump from the absolute edge of this platform. It's actually fairly difficult to do this without just walking off, but you'll be able to do a shovel drop and actually clear all of these sand blocks and hit the one dirt block. So this is the most optimal way to get out of this room. That said, if the slime does not cooperate, then you'll just have to figure it out. It's not too difficult, it's just unfortunate. Once more, with feeling. And jump! The fastest way through the next room requires you to do a turnaround damage boost on the first slime, which is kind of difficult to do, but you still won't save any time unless if you actually manage to continue optimal movement through the rest of the room. Once you've cleared the dirt block and pogoed off the Hopocles, just swing your shovel so that you don't bounce a second time. That'll throw off your jump timing, and then as you approach the fire droplet, jump and swing to clear it out of your way. So as you enter the room, turn around damage boost, pogo off the dirt block as soon as possible, cancel your pogo, clear the fire droplet, and leave. And this is what the easier way through the room looks like. You just take your time killing the first enemy. It kind of lines up much more nicely. Now I'm sure everyone will absolutely love doing Beatle Skip. Collect all these first couple green gems, there's no reason not to, and then get ready for your first jump. It's important to stand right here and wait for the next set of fire droplets because you don't want the birder enemy to be on screen at all. Part of the manipulation for Beatle Skip requires that the birder spawn at a specific time. So you're just going to wait right here until this fire droplet spawns. Once it's spawned and it's cleared out of your way and you know you can make this jump, go ahead, get a running start, and jump clear over this gap. From here, you have a little bit of time until the Beato catches up to you, and then you'll be able to actually perform the rest of Beato Skip. If Steve is bouncing in this V formation, then you know you've spawned him incorrectly. Now on this last pass, once you know you can land on the Beato, you're going to drop down, swing to the left, just before Steve would collide with those sand blocks. Now that he's free, you'll have to keep moving. Clear out the bottom 2 sand blocks, and then from this point on, I prefer to stay on the bottom. For this middle section, I'll approach the ledge, do a soft jump, and then try and swing my shovel at the middle of these 2 sand blocks. After clearing this jump, I'm going to wait for these fire droplets to get out of the way, and then I like to do a full jump while aiming to clear out the top 2 sand blocks. After doing this, you'll have to start keeping an eye on Steve. Shovel Knight does run a little bit faster than Steve, so you'll probably want to run up against this wall for just a split second before you jump. If you ever need to adjust your speed, just let go of right whenever you jump, briefly. You'll also have to keep in mind whatever the slimes are doing, and you'll have to try and keep a pace that will stay directly over Steve while moving over the enemies. So long as you feel like you're still directly over Steve, make sure you keep going and then jump over this big gap. You'll want to jump at the last possible moment. Make sure to swing your shovel as you're approaching the dirt block to clear it out of the way. Now let's look again. So as we enter the room with the Beato, we just start bouncing around, collecting the money, waiting in position for the first jump. With the fire droplet being our signal, we make our jump and get into position waiting for the second phase. This bouncy V formation lets us know that Steve has been appropriately set up. Then we drop and clear the sand blocks, jump again, wait for the fire droplets, and start hitching our movement for Steve, then bounce off of him and get out. Now if you happen to have some weapons, here's some alternate strats for you. If you have the Chaos Orbs, then just aim them at the top of this room here. They should bounce in this way, and then you'll only have to attack twice to get the golem out of your way instead of having to do a damage boost. Similarly, some well-aimed flare wand shots will hit the golem, and you can once again only swing twice to get him out of your way instead of doing a damage boost. Now this is a slightly difficult maneuver. Just make sure you practice doing a light jump and swinging when you're directly on top of Steve. And for this Red Duck Knight, you'll just want to make sure that you do a full jump once you know you'll barely land on the leftmost side of him. Should get him to raise his shield instead of stabbing or doing any shenanigans. Now for this next room, you'll want to do a swing at the topmost of the exploding bricks and then pogo off the lower one. This is another one of those maneuvers that if you find it too difficult, it's not worth the risk reward. Don't even worry about it. It doesn't save that much time. And the slimes can mess you up with their RNG movement. Speaking of RNG, if you don't like slimes, then you can certainly use the Chaos Orbs like that to get rid of them. Now in the first run through of the stage, I had bad RNG, but you can, if you have cooperative slimes, get through without taking any damage. That said, after clearing out these exploding bricks, if you feel like you're going to get some bad RNG from the slimes, you can hold left and right to do another one of those awkward little damage boosts. Now after purchasing Dust Knuckles on your way back into the checkpoint room, you'll want to break this thing with 3 hits, and then get immediately going as the platform should be on its way back to you. If you are moving quickly enough, you should be able to drop down and pick up the red gem, while still not missing the platform. Again, I got lucky here, and if you don't have Chaos Orbs, this is a lot trickier, but you'll want to do a damage boost, turn around, and then knuckle left once, then knuckle to the right while catching the slime, so that it gets into position while you destroy the slimes. Luckily, if you have Chaos Orbs, you don't have to care whatever the slimes are going to do. I swear this thing covers all of their different bounce options. Just make sure that you're firing 2 Chaos Orbs from directly over that small magic pot, and when you jump down and knuckle, the 2 slimes should be dead every time. Now, this knuckle won't save you much time at all, so again, this is something that I'd rather practice more before I include in my own runs, but you'll want to do a short hop from the rightmost lip of this. When you see Shovel Knight's foot is barely going to hang on there, short hop and knuckle, try and aim for the green slime ball, and you should be able to make it across. Luckily, apart from having a heart attack, if you should screw this trick up, you can always just turn left and save your life. Alternatively, you could just do this instead, where you clear out the dirt block on your way down and then jump up and catch the slime block on the way up. In this room with the Red Duck Knight, if you feel like you are capable of doing so, then you can jump and use 2 knuckles, just move a little bit faster through him, pogo off of him, and then knuckle, and then jump immediately to cancel the end lag of your knuckle. Or you could just pogo off of him, which is also very respectable and entirely safe. Now for Beatle Skip 2, you'll want to land on the Beetle immediately to get him moving, and then come up and break the checkpoint afterwards. Collect all your money, clear out the dirt blocks, collect some more money, and then get into position on the Beetle's nose. With only your foot on the Beetle's nose, keep an eye on the fire droplet. As soon as the droplet touches the lava, do a light jump. Don't move left or right until you're about to land again, then start moving forward. Full jump, you'll barely make it over the gap and under the fire droplet. Jump again, knuckle the first dirt block, and then knuckle twice more without moving afterwards. The rightmost birder enemy should be moving to the right now. Once it's about halfway across this gap, jump up behind it in such a position that you'll actually be able to knuckle through it twice, once from the left side and once from the center to the right. Now that's the hardest part of the trick. You should be able to avoid getting hit by those two fire droplets. Jump up and knuckle these 4 sand and dirt blocks. Afterwards, you'll want to do a short hop and then jump with confidence as soon as you touch the ground to do a full jump and knuckle these last 2 dirt blocks afterwards. Once again, here's Beatle Skip 2. Break your checkpoint, get your money, break these dirt blocks, and then wait on the Beetle's nose. Keep an eye on the fire droplet. Light jump, full jump, jump, knuckle, knuckle, knuckle. Wait for the birder. 1, 2, jump. 1, 2, 3, 4. Light jump, full jump. 1, 2. I highly recommend practicing both of the Beatle Skips in this stage before attempting to do so. Now, if you don't have a weapon other than knuckles, the start of the fight always looks the same. You'll either jump at him and swing right then left, or you'll jump at him and swing into pogo. The choice is yours. Although his height may vary, you should be able to do this every time without difficulty. For his last pass, I like to be closer to the left side of the room. Do 2 swings as he approaches, and the second swing you'll cancel with a pogo. If done correctly, not only will you not take damage, but you should be able to land, jump, turn around, and reflect a spark at him. Swing at him twice as he approaches. You will take damage, but from this damage you'll have some iframes with which you can jump, reflect another spark at him, swing 4 more times, and then finish him off with knuckles. So mole at full speed. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, pogo, reflect, 1, 2, damage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now if you have Chaos Orbs, this fight's actually a lot easier. As Mole Knight returns from his first pass, you'll be doing swing pogo so that you have the height required and the positioning for these 2 orb tosses. Make sure you jump and swing quickly, otherwise you won't be able to hit him before he gets away. And if you position the orbs correctly, they should be able to hit Mole Knight as he re-emerges from the wall. After his third pass, he'll once again be in position for you to pogo off of him and fire 2 more orbs. As you land, you'll be finishing the fight in a very similar fashion, where you'll swing twice, jump, and pogo cancel. If you have really awesome positioning, you might even kill him in the corner, but if not, then you should be able to kill him when he gets back to the middle of the room with 2 more shovel swings. Full speed with orbs. Swing pogo 1, 2, swing pogo. Swing pogo 1, 2, 1, 2 pogo, reflect, 1, 2. So then lastly we'll be looking at the Flare Wand fight. While this fight is incredibly tricky, it's also incredibly straightforward. Just make sure that you're firing twice per pass while getting your 2 shovel swings in. Make sure you're not firing so early that your Flare Wand shots will hit the wall before Mole Knight even comes out. Do keep in mind that his height, again, it varies, so you may end up having to adjust where your Flare Wand shoots. Other than that, the fight finishes very similarly. You'll just fit in as many Flare Wand shots as you can, take a damage boost into the corner, and then you can just shovel swing at him and he'll die very quickly from there. Alright, let's say goodbye to Mole Knight one last time. Flare, flare, swing, swing, flare, flare, swing, swing, flare, flare, swing, swing, flare, swing, pogo, reflect, get in position, damage boost, 1, 2, 3. So that'll wrap things up for the Lost City. In the next episode, we'll be heading over to the Explodatorium, where we'll finally be able to pick up the Alchemy Coin. Thanks for watching.